Hey everyone, Jeff from Lewis Physical Therapy here. So today's training session, forearm's been a little cranky, so I started up with really just some finger isometrics. This has been really helpful for me when I kind of get a little bit of a cranky forearm from a lot of pull work. So we then do some banded pronation isometrics. This one I feel a lot more in that forearm, that kind of common flexor tendon up by the elbow. So I'm really doing 3 to 4, maybe upwards of 5 sets of 10 seconds. And then after that, we'll move on to some of our hip mobility work. This is a good posterior hip capsule mobilization, really making sure this is felt in the back of the glute just to help me kind of just get down into kind of my pull position a little bit better. So we'll hit that for both sides, holding out there for about 1 to 2 seconds for about maybe around 10 reps. And then you guys saw in the last video, I kind of do this hip extension mobilization. Again, this is a tough one for me. I really struggle with this on my right side compared to my left. You're supposed to focus on squeezing your glute. I get a much better contraction on my left compared to my right, and the right's the side that's a little bit cranky, so I don't think it's too surprising that I'm a little more limited on hip extension on that right side. So this is one, again, I'll do this from a warm standpoint. I'll also do this as a kind of nighttime routine. And then again, we'll move into kind of our half kneeling hip flexor mobilization. As you can see, I'm relatively stiff on that left side here. It's tough for me to get pretty upright while also getting that heel towards my butt for a little more of a hip flexor stretch. And then after that, we'll move on to just some general controlled hip rotations, going through some kind of arc of motion, not going through the back. That's where the big thing is. A lot of people do this and they're just like, oh, let me just throw my leg around. And it's all coming from their low back, which we want to avoid. So we'll do that. We're going a little bit of some cat-cows here, kind of just get the spine moving, feeling good more than anything. A little stiff this morning, waking up as it is sometimes. And then we'll drop into our kind of glute bridge work more than anything. Our frog bridges, we'll start with a little bit of a hold here for double leg. Kind of just get a good contraction throughout that glute, and then we'll go through some reps. Then I believe shortly after this, I moved into some single leg variations. I can't recall off the top of my head. If you've ever tried a single leg frog bridge hold, it is very tough. It's tough on the ankle too. So if you got some ankle stuff going on, I definitely would not recommend doing that. So we did that here. Then we go to our traditional glute bridge. Again, really with this one, if I lose pelvic control, it gets really pinchy at the top of my kind of groin, at the top of my hip. So we're really just trying to just be very mindful of that more than anything. And then go through some back extensions here. Again, I think this is a great way to get the kind of glutes and spine warmed up. And today, I kind of have my hands behind my head going through a little bit more of a flexion arc, but being very mindful of it because I have had a flexion-based injury deadlifting a long time ago. So I'm very mindful of pushing flexion from a just kind of aggressiveness standpoint. But this is a good way just to get warmed up. Another variation you can do with your hands, kind of your elbows up with your hands behind your head, or even just your arms overhead. And then we get into our kettlebell swings. So again, like I've talked about before, I'll do upwards of like 50 to kind of 75 swings during a warm-up. Today I just did about 50. I was honestly just not feeling a lot of swings more than the power wasn't there, and I already had cleans and snatch pulls on the docket today, so I honestly didn't feel like pushing it. So I kind of did about 50, kind of nice and easy, 2 sets of 25, just getting it going, getting things primed. Again, I think this is a good way where I can kind of do this, and I'm ready to go into my barbell sets without having to do a ton of barbell warm-up, not to take away from it, but it's definitely one thing that I've noticed kind of in my training recently. So this here is my second set of some power cleans from the floor. So we got 185 on the bar. We're going for triples. So I had a descending rep scheme today of a 5-3-2. So first set of 5, second set 3 here at 185. Again, re-rack just to make sure I'm one, not putting a hole in my floor, but also just being mindful of not trying to shake the house more than anything. And then I believe after this, I went up to 205 after this. So I put a 10 on each side after this, which you'll see here shortly. So this here, right here. So this is going to be our third and final set. So he's got some doubles. So a set of 2 at 205. Honestly, this felt pretty good today. I mean, I still get a little, you can see if you watch it slowly, I still get a little bit on my toes as I'm kind of getting to that pull to the hip more than anything, which I just have to stay over the bar longer and push through the floor longer. Again, it's really not a problem until I get to some heavier weights. You can see I have a little bit of like a jump back there, which is common when you're kind of trying to pull the weight back towards you instead of meeting it at the hip appropriately. And then we got some snatch pulls. So with these, I'm really thinking of kind of slow to the knee, kind of slow, and then boom, you're trying to go quickly up there more than anything. So just a good way to get some more pull work. I can't snatch in my basement. Otherwise, I'll put a hole in the kind of in the foundation above. So I really just like kind of pushing some pulls every now and then in this cycle that I'm in, just to keep this movement. If anything, any snatch grip deadlifts or pulls off the floor is a great way to just really build some upper back and some lat strength more than anything. You got to hold that bar from a longer lever away from you. So again, I had just 2 sets of 5 here. Both sets I did at 185. Whenever I'm doing 2 sets of 5, I don't like to go crazy jumps. I kind of like to find a weight that I can get 2 good sets at. And that's really it. So that's today's training session. Was pretty gassed, but got some work in.